Hi everybody, this is a science and art lesson about arthropods. So we're going to start by talking about what arthropods are in a scientific sense, and towards the end I'm going to show you how to draw some arthropods. Your first thought here might be, what is an arthropod, Katie? What are you talking about? So the easiest answer is bugs and bug-like creatures, but we can be way more scientific than that. So first, let's break down the word arthropod. Arthro means stuff to do with joints, like in your finger where it bends, like right there, that's a joint. And pod means feet or foot. So arthropods kind of means jointed foot, although what it really means in terms of what an arthropod is that all of these creatures have legs with bends in them. They have jointed legs. So some examples of arthropods are things like insects, like bees, beetles, dragonflies, butterflies, ladybugs, all of that. Spiders and ticks and mites and all of those other arachnids, those are arthropods. Centipedes and millipedes are arthropods. So those big, long fellows with tons and tons of legs sticking off the side. And crustaceans are arthropods. Crustaceans are things like lobsters and crabs and, what are they called? Crayfish and potato bugs, actually. There are some other things that are arthropods, but those are the ones that you're going to recognize most clearly. So that's what we're going to talk about first. Now, there are 3 rules that something must follow in order to be an arthropod. Rule number 1, it must have an exoskeleton. Remember that exo, this part, means outside. Exoskeleton means an outside skeleton. So in the case of arthropods, if I'm going to draw us a little one right here just to look at, it means they have a shell. They have that hard, crunchy outside shell thing. That is their skeleton. And what their exoskeleton is made of is this stuff called chitin. Oh no, I spelled that wrong. Let's try again. Chitin. Chitin is not bendy at all. It is completely hard. It has no flexibility to it. So because their exoskeleton is made of chitin, that brings us to the second thing that all arthropods must have, and it's where they get their name. They need to have jointed legs. The reason they need to have jointed legs is so they can actually move around properly, since their body can't bend at all. Add some joints to these little legs. Okay, they need the bendy parts in their legs. Another thing that they need to have in order to properly be an arthropod is they need to have segmented bodies. That means that their bodies come in different sections. So like this one that I drew right here, its body comes in 3 sections. That would make it an insect. Spiders' bodies come in 2 sections. Crustaceans' bodies come in 2-ish sections. And centipedes and millipedes' bodies come in ridiculous numbers of sections. The segmented bodies are another thing that help arthropods actually be able to move around, since their exoskeleton made of chitin is not at all bendy. Some other useful things to know about arthropods is that they are cold-blooded. That means that their body is not in charge of its temperature. They cannot shiver or do anything that humans do to make themselves warm. If they want to be warm, they have to go sit in a warm place and wait until their body warms up on its own. They're not in control of it. When an arthropod grows, since its exoskeleton is completely hard, it can't just grow with them like a human body works. When their exoskeleton starts to get too small for them, they start growing a new one on the inside, and then the old one falls off, and they get a slightly bigger one. Because when the exoskeleton is brand new and growing, it can be a little bit flexible to fit the growing body inside there. But all of that means that you don't generally see arthropods that are humongous. Arthropods are generally pretty small. Those are our basics of what an arthropod has. So let's get into a little bit more detail. Let's look at an insect, shall we? Insects have 3 segments to their bodies. Some of you might remember the song that we sung a couple years ago. That's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but with insects. And it goes head, thorax, abdomen. So their head is the top one, their thorax is the middle one, and their abdomen is the end one. The song, in case you were wondering, goes head, thorax, abdomen, 6 legs, and so on from there, which tells us the next thing we need to know about insects, which is that they have 6 legs. Insects' legs are attached to their thorax. Remember to draw the joints if you're drawing them. This is not the drawing lesson part, don't worry. The drawing lesson is cuter. Insects generally have antennae. They have all sorts of other things going on, but we'll stop with just the basics for right now. Insects are 3 sections with 6 legs. Arachnids, so spiders and such, are 2 sections with 8 legs. And the 2 arachnid sections are, I think you're going to love this, their top one is called the cephalothorax. You can hear the thorax part in there, but let's think about the cephalo part. Cephalothorax. I think I need to start writing with a thinner pen. Think about cephalopods. So that's our friends like octopi and squid. Cephalo means head. So cephalothorax straight up means the head thorax. So this section on an arachnid's body is like their head and thorax together. And this one down here is still called the abdomen. And the legs of an arachnid, the 8 legs that they have, attach to the cephalothorax. I would love it if when you finished this lesson, you wanted to go do some exploring out in your yard and see which sorts of arthropods you can find. Because unless your yard is literally a strip of pavement, actually even then you probably still could find some, there are a lot of arthropods. You can definitely go do some experimenting. If you have a magnifying glass, it would be beautiful to be able to look at the little guys while they're running around and see them close up. But if you don't, your eyes are just fine. You can still make a lot of observations. I'm feeling pretty good about that much for our facts section. Centipedes and millipedes have lots and lots of sections. And crustaceans have generally 2 sections, but they're divided up slightly differently and in a slightly complicated way. They sort of look like they only have 1 section. So let's move on to the drawing part of this. All right. Hopefully these come out cute. They were cute when I practiced. We'll see. So let's start by doing kind of a blobby circle. You don't really want it to be perfect. Just blobby is fine. And inside of it, add a circle. And inside of that circle, add a dot. That's the beginning of our face. Now, we're going to draw this little creature in sort of a semi-side, semi-forward view, like a 3/4 view is I think what it's called in pictures. And that means that this eye that's on the side isn't going to show all the way. So we're just going to put a little like bump to show where that eye is. Now, I'm going to start by doing, I think, an ant. So I'm going to give it 2 antennae. and put little blips on the end to make them cuter. Now, if I want this to be realistic, I need to give it mouth parts that are, I'm going to draw them with my erasable pen. Something kind of like that. But on this one, I'm just going for cuteness. So I'm going to go slightly less realistic. Oh, it smeared a bit. That's okay. And I'm going to give him just a cute little smile. He's just a cute little bug doing bug stuff. Right. So we've got our head. Now we need to draw the thorax. So blop, blop. And then we need the abdomen. Bloop, bloop. Okay. The legs, remember, should connect to the thorax. Insects, which is what we're drawing right now since this is an ant, have 6. So we need 3 on each side. And they should have a joint in them, or 2. And I don't feel like you can really see these ones on the other side. So let's just make them disappear and show one of them sticking out the bottom. There we go. There's our little cute ant. Now, you can take the same thing and change it to be tons and tons of different bugs. So let's make a centipede. Circle, other circle, dot, eye thing, antennas. Look how different that one looks with antennae that are short. And I'm going to give this one a more proper grabby mouth. Now, centipedes have tons of segments, so let's just start drawing some segments on there until we get bored. Segments, 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 segments. That feels like a good number of segments. Now, the difference between a centipede and a millipede, besides what they eat, is how many legs they have per segment. A centipede, what this fellow is going to be, has 1 leg on each side of each segment. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then I'm going to do the little like disappearing legs on the other side. And I'm going to show that one a little bit. If I wanted it to be a millipede, it would need 2 legs on each side of each body segment. Now, I'm going to take an attempt at making an arachnid, making a spider. Last time I tried, I wasn't super happy with how it looked, so let's give it a try. We need our cephalothorax, our head thorax, and we need our abdomen. We want the legs to attach to the cephalothorax, kind of near the attachment point. And we want there to be 8 of them. And then the eyes, I think, are what I'm really struggling on when I'm making mine. I haven't decided yet if I want them to have like cute eyes or creepy eyes. So this time let's try 2 big ones and then some more little ones up here. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a little weird. That's okay. Let's make it a grabby mouth part. And then we need the little spinneret, the thing on the bottom where the web comes out of. So let's make, I'm not going to draw the web. I'm going to give this one a pattern on its back. It's going to have a star. I don't think any real arachnids have stars on their back, but my arachnid does. I'm okay with that, but still not finding it as cute as I'm finding my insect and my centipede. For the very last one, I want to show you a dragonfly. Now, we're going to start the same way that we started our little ant, because a dragonfly is also an insect, I think. I'll have to look that up later. A dragonfly is definitely an arthropod. I can tell you that to start. So, doot, 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 doot. All right. I don't know if they have antennae. Well, we'll leave them for now. It's going to look cute even if it's not perfectly accurate. Make a swoop like this. And then off of the swoop, you need to work on wings. So straight line, arced back. And then on this side, straight line-ish, arced back. We want the second set of wings to kind of hide behind, so we can go arced line, straight back. Same thing on this side, arced line, straight back. Then in order to make the wings look a little more realistic, we want to give them that look that is kind of like the veins of a leaf. So we're going to give them like their center line and then the little veiny bits coming off. Then we want to finish the bottom part of the body and give it a couple marks to kind of show that it's curved. I'm going to give this one a cute smile instead of a realistic face. And I'm going to give him his 6 legs. I'm pretty sure they're insects. Off the sides. Okay. Then we need to draw out the end of the dragonfly body. So I'm going to do it by drawing little sections like this. And the very end is kind of a little more pointy. Like that. So there's a little dragonfly. I think that they are pretty cute. They're not entirely realistic, but at least they have the right number of legs and the right number of body sections. So they're sort of realistic. Think about following up from this, and if you want to follow up from it in an artsy way, or in a sciencey way, or in a combination of both. I would love to see what you decide on doing with this work if you want to take a picture and share it with me. Here's another look at this in case you need any of this information. And yeah, go on with life. Have a good day. I miss you all.